Hey, and welcome back to another edition of Money Matters with Matt. Today we are getting into the topic of investing and passive income. I remember back in 2015, I was reading a book and it stated this topic of golden gooses versus golden eggs, and it transformed and caused my brain to begin to look at this idea of passive income in a completely different capacity than I ever had before. We have an opportunity to save a golden egg. This might be in a pension or relying upon our CPP in Canada or the pension plans that are offered globally, where we have this net savings that is increasing, that one day in retirement will slowly begin chipping away at our golden egg of a nest egg and use that to fund the retirement life that we have. The downside of relying solely upon a golden egg is that as you consume the egg, it begins to disappear. The egg is used weekly, monthly, annually, and we have to constantly manage the amounts that we're using of that egg to ensure that we will live long enough, or that we'll have enough as we live longer. The challenge is what if I retire at 65 and I live to be 95? Is my nest egg enough? What if I retire at 65 and I live to be 67 and I didn't use my nest egg enough? These are some of the challenges that we're faced with when we rely upon a nest egg. Alternatively, we can, rather than aiming to simply save a golden egg, we can buy a golden goose. What's the difference? Well, a golden goose lays eggs regularly. Golden eggs, in fact, come from a golden goose, and so as we purchase a golden goose, it produces golden eggs that we can use on a regular basis. I mean, do golden geese even exist? Well, in the form of passive income, we see that there are many ways for us to be able to have a golden goose type mentality when it comes to the work that we do. Things like royalties are a golden goose. They continue to pay us after the initial work is done. Things like real estate can be a golden goose. Once that real estate unit is paid for, the cash flow that comes in monthly from it is a golden goose that continues to pay us month after month after the initial work is done. And real estate has some work alongside it. So it's not totally passive. There's still active work that we need to do. But the idea is that it pays us repetitiously going forward so that our expenses in the future will be offset by the cash flow that we earn from our golden goose, from this investment. I want to take a moment today to talk to you about dividends as a truly passive form of investment, where we take portions of our income and we buy stocks or funds that pay a dividend and begin to see the passive income return. What is a dividend? Well, many companies on the stock market are large companies that, with their profits, they choose to pay a small amount of money back to shareholders of the stock or the fund. Why would a company do that? Well, it retains long-term investors who will plant their money in a particular company or a fund and allow their money to sit there for a long period of time, enabling and encouraging that company to use that money over a long time for sustainability and growth. Companies that pay dividends tend to be very large and sustainable, long-lasting companies. And as such, they are typically called blue chip stock companies. They've been around for a long time. They have solid numbers, low debt ceilings, high levels of income, and low expenses, allowing them to be able to earn a profit week after week, month after month, year after year. And as a result, not only do their businesses grow incrementally as they continue to adapt to market conditions and products that people need, but they also tend to pay a dividend to their investors. How much of a dividend do they pay? Well, that depends largely on the company, on the share price and the dividend yield that you will see when you're looking at a dividend-paying company. The yield indicates the percentage of the stock price that will be paid back in dividends across a 12-month period. So you might find a stock that trades at $100 that has a 5% dividend yield, and you know that that stock will pay you $5 across 12 months of owning that $100 stock. So your $100 earns you $5 in dividends, or a 5% return annually in the stock. This is neat in that whether or not the stock goes up or down or trends sideways, they've declared how much they're going to pay you simply for owning that stock. That way, if the stock goes up, not only do you get unrealized gains of the stock price increasing, which you could sell and forfeit your rights to dividends, or you could continue to retain in your portfolio, get paid the dividends, and enjoy that dividend. If the stock remains the same, the dividend doesn't change. If the stock goes down, the yield price goes up because they've already declared how much they're going to be paying moving forward. This is a truly passive form of investing, where even with today's technology, which is so much greater than it has been in the past, you actually barely need to do any work to even set it up. You can download an app like Wealthsimple, set up an automatic recurring purchase for a dividend-paying stock, and every single day, week, or month that you have enabled in that stock, it will purchase that stock for you. In fact, I do that. Every single day the market is open, I put $5 into a dividend-paying company, and I change that company on occasion. I try to do some self-managed inputs otherwise, but I know every day I have placed another $5 into dividend-paying companies that are going to continuously increase their dividend to me. How do we start this? Well, the reality is it takes some hard, active work to start investing in passive income. It means throwing on the work gloves, putting on the thinking cap, increasing our skills, taking our income, and taking our active income, the income we physically trade our time to work for, or our intellect to work for, and we take that, and from the active income we begin to put it into passive income producing assets like stocks or ETFs that have a dividend payout. By doing this on a repetitious basis, it might start off very slow and small. I was just looking at my last 3 years of dividend income, and in February of 2021, I earned $1.68 in dividends. But in 2024, I earned $75 in dividends. It began very slowly, and I'll tell you what, that $1.60 or whatever it was in that first year, I was elated to see that $1.60 hit my dividend portfolio, because it meant I got paid $1.65 for doing nothing more than having taken my active income and putting it into passive income streams. What's also really cool about our technology today is that everything can be done in fractional trading. What's fractional trading? Well, that means instead of buying an entire share of a company outright, you can buy just a portion of a share. You can buy $1 worth, $5 worth, $12 worth, $7,000 worth. It doesn't matter. You get to choose how much money you put in, and it will grant you fractions of a share, not just whole shares. So if you're looking to buy a company that's trading at a very high price relative to your income, you can buy incremental portions of it, amassing what might eventually be one share of that company. This is a very exciting tool that we have available to us to be able to do fractional trading in a way that also produces income. Dividends are paid out on fractional trading as well. If you own half a share of the company, you know you'll get half the payout of what they'll do in a year for a full share being owned. So if across a year you would get $5 back, but you own 50% of a share, you would get $2.50 back that next year. Your money doesn't get tired of working. Your money doesn't complain, it doesn't go to HR, it doesn't go on a strike. Your money works for you without ceasing. Every single time I take some of my active money and I invest it into passive income streams, I tell that money, go make me some more money, please. And it's like, aye, aye, Captain, we're off on our way to make some more money. And then it comes back. Some dividends will pay out monthly, quarterly, or annually. So some of that money comes back every single month and says, hey, Captain, we went out, we worked hard, and look, we've brought back a portion more money with us. What would you like me to do? And I say, go back to work and get some more money. In a dividend account, you can turn on something called DRIP, which is our Dividend Reinvestment Program. And what that means is that companies will give you an option to drip your dividends back into the investment, and every month or quarter when that dividend is paid, it purchases more stock. In fact, some companies will actually give you a discount on the stock that you're purchasing if you have your drip turned on. In this manner, small increments along the way might start off with small returns but increase quite rapidly. What you'll notice is that that income that you continuously reinvest will also earn you the dividend yield in the following 12 months. Meaning every time you get paid and reinvest that money, it will actually earn you more money in your next dividend payment. And as far as it works, it would continue to increase your payments month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year. The idea of passive income is buying a golden goose, that in our retirement or before retirement, we're able to have a stream of income coming in, a golden goose laid every single month, quarter, and year that enables us to be able to use that money either to give, to invest, or to spend and offset the cost of our living. Warren Buffett, one of our generation's greatest investors, often has said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Meaning that the interest that's paid back to you in dividends, as it compounds and increases and is reinvested, it produces more of its own kind. It produces more dividends, which are reinvested to purchase more dividends, which is reinvested to produce more dividends, and this number slowly goes up. Tracking your dividend income is an exciting thing. I have been so much more excited about getting a $10 monthly dividend than I am about my active paycheck, because I know that that $10 dividend is going to continue to increase month after month, year after year, and will eventually be a golden goose that's just paying me every single month because of the active work I've done years in the past. How do we go about finding companies with dividend yields? Well, you can Google it. You can use the search tools within most brokerage apps these days that are able to highlight dividend-paying companies and finding yields that are appropriate. I would encourage this as a significant financial literacy step. If you don't know anything about companies or dividends or stocks, I would encourage you to look at things like S&P 500, ETFs first, which are electronically traded funds. They are managed and they are overseen by very smart people, and therefore we just put money in and it pays us dividend back. But it's usually a smaller amount than investing in companies directly. As you grow in your financial literacy, understanding more about how to read financials of each company, and as you begin to understand the metrics that show healthy dividend increases and longevity, then you can begin to branch off into individual stocks that you choose to own in your portfolio. You can do this by following websites like Seeking Alpha or YouTube channels, or reading books or listening to audiobooks that speak about dividend investing and how to grow that in your personal life. I personally believe that dividend investing is one of the most accessible forms of passive income you and I can experience and be a part of today. Maybe we want to buy a house, but the reality is that takes a large down payment and a lot of management to make happen. But with dividend investing in today's era, we can literally start with as little as 10 cents and begin earning dividends. We can begin to increase that week after week, month after month, year after year, as the fire of dividend passive income comes into our lives. There are now times where I consider how purchasing a coffee and muffin could actually be used to insert into a dividend company that will pay me a percentage and how much I would make back and how long it would take me to buy a coffee and muffin every month off of that dividend coming back. And that becomes our moments where we realize and are excited about the potential of what dividends can mean in our life. When our bills, our wants, and our needs are covered, we've received financial independence through passive income. That is my hope for you, and I am excited to hear about your journey exploring these dividend paying options as a form of passive income. Thanks so much for watching today. I'm excited for your dividend journey, and we will talk to you next week.